welcome to this week's reading vlog. Sorry it's a little dark and the lighting's not that great. I'm literally starting this video at 6:30, 7 p.m. because that's just the time I decided to start it. So here we are. I kind of wanted to talk about the books that I'm currently reading. If you saw my last video, then you know I have my Made TBR. I chose it out and now I started reading those books. And so I started this one. I decided to go with Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez first because it just seems like an easier sort of rom-com romancy book that I feel like I can get through rather quickly. And it's been on my TBR for a while and I have been wanting to read it, so I figured this is a good one to pick. I'm about 35% through it. I'm on page 148, which honestly it's flown by so quickly. I've picked it up maybe 3 different times and have gotten this far. So I'm really happy and excited that it's already that entertaining, and I've not even hit the halfway mark yet. And I know by the other books that Abby Jimenez writes and I have read, they usually start off like that, so I already know it's gonna get better and there's gonna be a plot twist, and yeah, I'm really excited for that. So I'm excited to read this. Hopefully I can finish this in this video and give you guys my final thoughts. But for now, it's essentially a book about Vanessa and Adrian. They're front door neighbors. And if you haven't read an Abby Jimenez book before, essentially she's the queen of meet cutes. Her meet cutes are so freaking what the heck? Essentially, Adrian is in bed with his girlfriend at night, and then he hears a baby crying and he's what the heck? He can't go to sleep. So he goes and it's his front door neighbor Vanessa, and she's there with the baby a whole mess. He asks to help her out because she's clearly struggling, and that's how they meet essentially. So that's really random and what the heck, but it's cute, it works. And now they're kind of developing, stuff happens with him and his girlfriend. I don't want to spoil anything, but the book is about them too, and it's already really cute, so I'm enjoying this. But I also started another book which is on my Made TBR and I'm scared, but it is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This one I'm only 40 pages in, 42 pages, and I'm confused. I think it focuses on 4 main characters, and so it's kind of hard for me to try to remember who each of them are, what has happened to each of them. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's okay so far. I mean, I'm only 40 pages in, so it's really nothing, but it's a chunker. It's 800 pages, and the font is rather small, I feel and the pages are super thin, so that's fun. And then the last book that I'm reading is actually on my Kindle, and it's from the library. Yeah, it's a library book, and it's Poverty by America. I'll put the cover on here. I am enjoying it, but it's just I'm not reading it as fast, obviously, because it's not as super thrilling and entertaining as a fiction book is, because it is nonfiction about poverty in America. I feel I've learned so much already, and I already recommend it to people because it's truly fascinating how I feel I already know half of the things that it's talking about, but it explains why this happens, or oh, you think this is why there's poverty in America, well, think again. Or the welfare system. This was what really shocked me, was people think that when you think the welfare system and who's taking advantage of it, you think poor people, right? People who are low income and are on food stamps and whatnot. But did you know that tax cuts and tax breaks, student loans, those are all a form of welfare too, because it is government assistance. And actually the rich are the ones who benefit from welfare the most, literally in money terms. So it's just mind-blowing, because it really just makes you rethink everything that you think you already know. And so I really like that, and I'm very much enjoying it. And I'm about, I don't even know what percent I'm in for now, but I'll put my little Storygraph percentages up here, because that's how I keep track of my books that I'm reading. I also use Goodreads, but I feel Storygraph is just a lot easier to read. I'll link both my Goodreads and my Storygraph below in case you want to check me out. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on in my reading world at the minute. We're doing a lot of reading, and I'm just in a really big reading mood lately, so that's always, I'm trying to take advantage of it, because then a slump may be around the corner, and I want to make up some reading time before that hits. Also, I went to the library today, and you'll never guess what I found. These 2 books. First one First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This is the Reese's Book Club. I think it was the January pick, which it's been like all over everywhere, and I'm so excited because I didn't want to buy it, and I knew if I put it on hold at the library, like it was going to take like months for me to get it. So I'm really happy that I found it at the library. They have this section where it's called like Lucky Day, and they're just books that you can check out for 3 weeks, but you can't renew them. So that's where I found this one, and this one, Funny Story by Emily Henry. Yeah, I hit the lottery. Like, I can't believe I found this. I don't even want to like read a word yet. I'm kind of like intimidated and don't even want to start it yet because I don't want it to end already, if you know what I mean. I do, and I have, actually no, I was about to lie and say I've read all of her books, but I haven't read People We Meet on Vacation. That's the one and only book that I haven't read by her. All the other ones I own. I own all of them except for Funny Story, and I've read all of them besides People We Meet on Vacation. So yeah, I feel like the first book I read was Beach Read, and it was like a 3.5 star for me. Maybe I need to reread it, but that's how I felt in the moment. And then I read Book Lovers, which I really liked. It was like a 4 stars. And then I read Happy Place, which that one was really, really good. I love that one. It was like 4.5, maybe a 5-star read. So yeah, definitely recommend Emily Henry if you've never heard of her. I'm sure you have, but now I have Funny Story, and I'm probably gonna be starting it soon, although I'm kind of scared. Yeah, I can't believe I got these from the library. Like, that's crazy. Okay, I turned on like the main light because it was way too dark in here. But anyway, sorry if you can hear Call of Duty in the background. My boyfriend's playing out in the living room. But anyway, still reading Life's Too Short. But I just wanted to show you guys my freaking sweatshirt or crew neck, whatever this is. Look at the back. Can you read it? How cute. My sister gave this to me for Christmas. So actually, I don't know where she got it. I think it was Etsy. I'll have to ask her, and maybe I'll link it down below too. But yeah, that I was just reading and like noticed I was wearing this crew neck and was like, I should probably show you guys because it's like bookish, and who doesn't love bookish clothes? I do. So, gonna go back to reading. Hello vlog. It's another day and I have a bit of a reading update for you guys. So I finally finished Life's Too Short. Actually really enjoyed it. I think I'm sitting on a rating of 4 stars for now because I really enjoyed it. I think it was really interesting. I like read it pretty quickly, kept my attention. My only little like qualms, if that's even a word, with it is that I feel like the pacing was a bit off. It was very much a slow burn. So if you're into that, then you're into it. I feel like the last like 25% was wrapped up rather quickly, and I wish we had a little bit more time in that kind of area of their lives. And you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that is a common thing with Abby Jimenez's books, is like it's really good, and then the ending is really good as well, but then it just wraps up really quickly, and I just wish it was a bit longer. So for that reason, this is a 4 stars for me. That's still really good. It's literally May 1st, so I was able to finish this already, and this is on my May TBR, so I'm really glad I got to at least finish one of the books on my TBR for the month. I am still very interested in reading the rest of the books on that TBR, so I'm just gonna keep going through the list and going to see what's next. But essentially, this book is about Vanessa Price and Adrian Copeland. They're front door neighbors. What else can I say about it without being spoiler-ish? Because I hate spoilers, so I don't want to spoil anything. But, you know, I will say there's men's mental health in here, which I feel like is a common theme in a lot of Abby Jimenez's books. So if you're into that, then definitely read this, pick this up, because it just shines a spotlight on that. Also with terminal illness, that's definitely a subject that's talked about in here. Yeah, honestly, I just really liked all the different characters. They each had their part in the story, and some of them were funny, some of them were inspiring. They all kind of did their role. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say because I do not want to spoil this, but I think this is not my least favorite Abby Jimenez book, but I would probably rank this one number 3. I've read 4, and I would say this one's number 3. Because these are rom-coms that I feel like have a bit more of substance than the usual rom-com, so I definitely recommend this little mini-series because it's really good. It's very entertaining, but it still has some depth to it, which I appreciate, and I like to find that in the books that I read. So yay, we're happy to be done with this. Next, I'm gonna pick up another book for my TBR, but I am currently still reading A Little Life. Of course, this one's gonna take me quite a while to get through, I think. I am on page 100 now, so I haven't made too much of a dent, but it's a little, you know, it's a little bit, you know, better than I had in the previous clips. I think that it's starting to finally pick up a little bit, which is what I've heard. It's like the first 150 pages are a bit of a drag, and then once you're in, you're in. So I'm on the cusp right there. I am finding it more entertaining the more I read it. So definitely excited to see like what's gonna happen. One thing about this is it does focus on like 4 characters. I think one of them is like the main character, but it talks about all 4. So I've been using my notes app on my phone to kind of keep tabs and notes about each character, because I just found that it makes it a lot easier for me to remember like what's happening with each one, or like what's this one's job, what's this one's home life like, because there are 4 characters. I'm sure once I get like through more of the book, I'll start remembering it on my own. But for now, I found that really helpful. So if this book is kind of intimidating to you because of that, then I definitely recommend like keeping a little bit of a note, just like I have, because it's definitely made my like reading this a lot easier. I'm getting a little scared because it's kind of like been hinting at some stuff that I'm like, is this gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Why did they bring that up? So very interested to see where this takes me next. But while I'm reading this, I'm gonna pick up another book because I don't just want to read and binge that. I kind of want to have my foot in a few different ponds. I definitely just made that up, but hopefully you get it. This is difficult for me. I want to pick this one up next because it's super short, and it just makes me want to read it because I feel like I can finish this really quickly. So I think I'm going to pick up Lucky, and then I also have Funny Story by Emily Henry, which I'm like, do I want to read it? Do I not want to read it? I do want to read it, of course, because she's a great author. It's a new release, but I also kind of want to savor it and not read it right away. But it's from the library, so I only have 3 weeks to read that one. I also have Tom Lake, which is on my TBR. I also have to read. I've been pushing that one off literally since the beginning of the year. Like, I just have to rip off the band-aid and read it. So it's kind of between those right now. It's hopefully in the next clip you'll get a bit more clarification and direction as to see which one I'm reading next. But it's gonna be either Lucky or Tom Lake. I think I'm leaning between those two. But this one seems fun and short and nice to just kind of dive into. But we'll see. I guess you guys will see me reading and you guys will find out which book I read next. This right here is one of the best parts of finishing a book. So this is the one I just finished, and we're gonna toss it in there. These are the other 2 books that I was talking about that are like in this little mini series. So there's this one, which I absolutely loved, and then the Happy Ever After playlist, which I loved even more, and then Life's Too Short. So glad to have those finished. Now I just need to read. Actually, I read Part of Your World. I have to read Just for the Summer, which literally came out last month. And then I have Yours Truly over here on this TBR cart. So those are my last 2 Abby Jimenez books. That's the struggle with like having FOMO, because I obviously want to read these books because everyone is reading them, but then I'm like, I'm gonna not have an Abby Jimenez book to read after I finish those. So that's the struggle. I try to keep a nice little balance. Ew, not you guys. Not y'all looking in my closet. Let me close that. But yeah, that's the struggle with like wanting to read new releases, but also wanting to kind of savor them. I'm sure other people like relate about that, because I try to just find a balance, but it's hard because I hate FOMO. I hate feeling like I'm missing out and not knowing what people are talking about. But then again, I also want to keep books on my TBR because maybe I'll be in the mood later on. Like, it's a struggle. About 20% through A Little Life. It's still slowly gearing up, but I feel like I'm learning a lot more about our main character. As I mentioned before, it's basically 4 characters, but it focuses on one main character. All 4 are guys and they're like friends, and it's a friend group, but the one main character's name is Jude, and his is kind of the backstory that we really don't know anything about. We know very minimal stuff like his education and his friends, but like his childhood, We know nothing about his parents. We know they're dead, but like we don't know what happened. And there's some stuff that have happened to him that were clearly traumatic and like abusive, but we just do not know what that is at this point. And like I mentioned, I'm 20% through according to Goodreads, and that's page like 165. So I still have quite a long way to go, but I'm enjoying it and excited to like keep reading and find out more about what's going on, because I can already feel it like sinking its claws into me and keeping me right where it needs to keep me in order to finish this book. So definitely enjoying this for now. But like I mentioned in the last clip, I wasn't sure which book to start now that I finished Life's Too Short. And I ended up picking up Tom Lake by Ann Patchett, but literally I'm only like, I don't know why I always say literally, but literally I'm only about like 10-15 pages in. And I'm not gonna lie, I did debate on like DNFing it this morning, but then I was like, you know what, I checked Goodreads, it has like a 4.3 star rating, and I think that's pretty good. Higher than I expected it to be. I was like, oh, if it's like a 3.5 or something, I'm just gonna DNF it, because in that, it's not worth it in my opinion. But it had like a 4.5, not 4.5, 4.3 rating. So I'm gonna continue reading it. I'm gonna give it a fair shot, maybe get to about 50 pages. And if I'm still not feeling it, then I'm gonna DNF it. But for now, I'm gonna continue reading it. I'm just now starting to get like a feel of what it's about. It's about a mom telling her like life story to her 3 daughters, I believe. And so it's barely like getting into that. And again, I'm very, very surface level with this, but I did end up grabbing this. But I think I'm also going to jump into Lucky later today, just because I want something a bit faster. I know I'm not going to get through A Little Life right away because it's so long. And then Tom Lake, I'm still a little iffy about. So I want to jump into this, and hopefully this like is very engaging and will keep my interest right away. And again, it's fairly short, so hopefully I can finish it like really soon. Finished. Right, so I just finished Lucky by Marissa Stapley, and this was a Reese's Book Club pick. This is on my May TBR, so I'm really glad I got to finish it. It really is not long at all, which was super great. It was a nice quick read. Basically, it's about this girl named Lucky, and she's a con woman because she was raised that way. Her dad is like a serial con man, and so together they would kind of run these heists together. And there's a dual timeline in here, which I found really fascinating, because there's one in the past when she's like a little girl growing up with her dad, and then one in the present time when she's kind of caught up in a lot of stuff. And both timelines were equally entertaining, which I feel like is pretty rare sometimes. Sometimes you just get a dual timeline book where you're more invested in one timeline over the other. But in this one, I will say that was not the case. It was definitely, they were both really entertaining, and eventually they both catch up with each other. So it's just one timeline at that point. And yeah, it just overall I felt like the pacing was really, really good for this. Again, it was pretty short, but it felt like it was just moving right along. It's decently fast paced, so if you're looking for something to get you out of a slump or just to switch things up and get a quick read in, I would definitely recommend this. It was super entertaining, like I said. I haven't read too many books about like a female con woman, but this is I think my second one. If you guys read Stone Cold Fox, that one was really interesting as well, and I really enjoyed that one, so I recommend that one as well as this one. I haven't given it a rating yet because I literally just finished it right now, so I'm gonna wait to kind of sit on it for a bit. Kind of the mini update, I'm glad I was able to finish this. I now have 2 books done from my May TBR that I'm really excited I was able to finish. Now I am still reading A Little Life, which you guys have seen in this video. I just don't know what to grab next. I have a few options. Let me show you guys. Okay, so here we have some library books that I've picked up like from the library. They were either on hold or I just picked them up because I thought they were like interesting. First Light Wins. We have Happy Place, which is of course a highly anticipated new release. I have this one, Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. And I have a nonfiction read by Gabor Mate. I don't really know how to say it, but it's a big chunky book, and I didn't realize it was so big and chunky when I requested it. So I'm not really feeling that at all. So I have those, and then I have my other May TBR books. So in the May TBR pile, we have Hot House Flower, we have Tom Lake, and Iron Flame. I don't think I really want to reach for Iron Flame right now just because it's so chunky and I'm just not in that fantasy mood at the minute. I'm leaning between these two. I did kind of start this one the other day, but I only got like 10 pages in, so I will, at this point I have to restart it just because it's 10 pages and I just want to get like that fresher look on it. Or I can start Hot House Flower, which is I think the 5th book in the Addicted series. This I think is calling my name right now just because I really feel invested in this series at this point, and it's just another romance. I can always go for a romance. I think I'm gonna pick this one up. Now, I don't know how much more of this video you guys are gonna see because I don't really know when to stop it. I've honestly no idea how much I've already recorded. Yeah, I do want to rate the books that I've read in this video at the very end, just so I have like a clearer mind. I sometimes just need a few days to like have all the feelings sink in, so don't really know what the ratings are for this one. I'm thinking maybe a 3.5, maybe a 4. That's kind of where I'm at. It was not a 5-star read. It was not anything less than a 3 because it was pretty entertaining. So that's kind of where I'm at with it for now. And I don't really do like 0.5 ratings just because, or not 0.5, 0.25. Like I don't do like 4.25, 4.5, 4.75. I do full stars and half stars. So like 1, 1.5. I've never rated a book 1 or 1.5, or even like a 2. I think I've rated like 2 books a 2. I think at that point, like, I just kind of know what books I wouldn't like. So if I'm reading them, like, you know, they're gonna fall into like a really low score if I just am not that interested in them and I read them, force myself to read them and end up not liking them. I think that's a big reason why I've read a lot of 5-star reads this year already, is because I'm just definitely prioritizing books that I think I will genuinely like and that just sound like a bit of me, and not forcing myself to read these other like super popular books that are really popular and I have FOMO but I know I won't like. So that's a tip for you if you are like not finding a 5-star read, or you're just struggling with books that you're not really enjoying, is literally put down BookTok, put down BookTube, ignore Bookstagram, and just read books that like genuinely are calling your attention because you know you would like them, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I think for now we're pivoting to Hot House Flower. Another day, another update. Before we get into the talking about books and how I've been reading and all of that, I did get a package and it is books that I ordered from Target. So let's open that up. How do you even open this? Oh my gosh. These are like so confusing to open, but I actually prefer these types of packages for books because I feel like they do the least amount of damage. Because sometimes I'll be getting packages from like Target and they're just bad. Like the edges are all effed up. Ooh, okay, so there's 4 books in here because Target, at this time when I'm filming this, they're running a buy one get one half off sale. And so of course I got 4 books because I got 2 half off, if that makes any sense. But the first book I got is Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women That a Movement Forgot. So look how pretty it is. It's such a pretty book too, and it's really small. I didn't expect it to be this tiny, but I'm really excited to see what this is about. It's essentially talking about the feminist movement, but basically talking about the feminist movement, but kind of focusing more on the people who don't have like access to like basically, I honestly don't even know how to describe it. I've never read it before, but I just saw like a review about it and I thought it seemed really interesting. It's a Penguin book, so that's really cool. And it says, "My wish is that every white woman who calls herself a feminist, as I do, will read this book in a state of hushed and humble respect." Oh, it's a collection of essays, which is interesting. Basically just talking about the feminist movement and how it has a glaringly big blind spot and it's not kind of a movement for all women, if that makes any sense. I'll get back to you guys once I read this. Second book is, of course, Addicted for All. This is the next book that I don't own in this series. It's not the last one, so luckily I still have quite a few more to buy, but this one's pretty chunky. Like it feels almost 500 pages. It's over 500 pages, so that's exciting. I'll get to this. I'm trying to finish the series this year, so hopefully that happens. If it does, you guys will know about it. But this is the next Addicted book. Oh wait, no, I think I'm lying. I don't know, Thrive. I have Thrive, which is like the book after Hot House Flower. I don't know if that one is a Calloway Sisters book or an Addicted series book. I think this one's Addicted series because like it's called Addicted for after all, right? So anyway, wait, actually it tells me in the title page here. Let me let you guys know what it says. Actually it doesn't say, so we'll find out once I read it. That was the other book that I got. Next up is Travis by Mia Sheridan. This is kind of like the sequel to Archer's Voice. So if you guys have heard of Archer's Voice, if you've read Archer's Voice, Travis, the character Travis in Archer's Voice, this book is about him essentially. So I'm really excited to read this. I knew about this for a long time but didn't think to buy it or read it, but then I was looking at something, I think it was like a book talk, and someone was talking about this and how it was like still a really good book, and I figured, okay, I really loved Archer's Voice. Like that is a 5-star read for me. So why not continue like Pelion, the city, the little, if you read Archer's Voice, you know what I'm talking about. But why not just continue, like jump back into that world, right? And see what it's about. And I'm assuming it's romance. Hopefully I'm correct. But yeah, this is the other book that I got. I'm really excited to read this as well. My TBR cart literally has 0 room, so they're gonna have to wait to go on the TBR. But look at how cute this one is. It's called A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and I'm not even gonna lie, I have no idea what this book is about, but I remember months ago I was at Barnes & Noble just browsing, and I picked this one up because I loved the cover, and I was like, this is so cute. I didn't even read the back. Oh, there's literally one line. It says, the beloved American classic about a young girl's coming of age at the turn of the 20th century. Okay, that's really interesting. One of the greatest American novels by the New Yorker. But again, I think I saw this on someone's like TikTok, and they were talking about it, and I was like, wait, I remember this book because I saw it in the store, and I added it to like my book list, and I don't remember what it was about, but apparently it was really good. And so it's so freaking cute. I can't wait to put it on my shelves because look at the cover, it's beautiful. That was my mini book haul. I'm super excited for these. Again, I have to continue with my monthly TBR videos because my TBR cart is literally, there's no room. There's room like on the back side, but like what's the point of that? Because I can't really show the back side, and it's hard to like pick out the books from the back. So we're just gonna stick to what we have now and then just continue picking books off of there. So basically I ended up starting Hot House Flower, which is also another book on my TBR, of course, and I literally started it not yesterday but the day before yesterday, and I'm like this much in. I probably like 20 to 30%, maybe somewhere in that range, and I actually started annotating it. This is only the second book that I have ever annotated, but I just realized as I was reading it, I didn't plan to, but once I started reading it, I was like, wait a minute, like I am actually really liking this. So there's like some memorable quotes in there, and so I just figured I wanted to annotate it, and it's my copy, so of course, why not? And then maybe going forward, I'll continue to annotate the rest of the Addicted series, and then maybe one day when I reread, I can annotate the books leading up to this one, because of course I didn't annotate any of those. Yeah, really enjoying this so far. This is Reich Meadows and Daisy Calloway's like love story, and I already knew that going into it. If you haven't read the Addicted series, this is book like 5. So maybe start at the beginning, but I feel like you could read this as a standalone. It is still a romance book, but you definitely want that found family aspect, because I feel like you would be missing out on a lot if you didn't know like who these surrounding characters are, because they're so, what's the word I'm looking for? They're so pivotal, they're so important to the story. I'm really excited. I feel like I've gotten a lot of reading done, at least through this video. I'm still about 200 something pages into A Little Life, so slowly making my way through that one, but for now I've just kind of put that aside, and I'm reading stuff that I'm like just digesting a lot quicker. So for example, this one I'll definitely finish before reading A Little Life, but unfortunately I'm not going to finish this in this video. I did want to rate the books that I read because I don't think I did, so let's take a look to what they were. Let's see, I read Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. Remember her? She was a good one. She is a solid 4. I think it was my least favorite in her this little mini series that she has. The other two being the Friend Zone and the Happy Ever After playlist. I think I liked them in the order that they come in. So this was my favorite, second favorite, third favorite, I think. Honestly, this one might be my favorite too. I don't know, but this one's still really, really good. Again, like I mentioned, it's just a meatier romance than like your typical rom-com, so of course I recommend it. I recommend this as a series wholeheartedly because I think it's really, really good, and these definitely can be read as standalones, but they do have those interconnected characters that it's always just nice and like a little Easter egg to look forward to. Lucky was also read in this video. I ended up rating this one a 3.5 star because again, it was great, but wasn't my favorite book ever. Definitely recommend though. I thought it was really entertaining. So for that reason alone, I would recommend it. And then I'm reading this. I don't know if it's going to be a 5 star just yet because I don't know, but it's definitely probably at least 4. I'm already super invested and like I feel like I have to finish it. So, and I don't see this like slowing down at all. If anything, it's going to pick up. So really, really good. Can't wait to finish this, and I will review these. I will review all the books a little bit more in depth, especially this one, and hopefully I get through A Little Life by the end of the month. That way when I do like a May wrap up, I can really kind of go into the meatier like topics and discuss like more in depth all the different videos that I read, or books, all the different books that I read. But for now, that's gonna be it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and subscribe, like, comment, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.